Okay, I don't know if you can see that. And that's a prolapse vent. And I have got to try to get it back in again. Hi everyone. I wanted to let you know that we had to sadly put a blur over the prolapse vent of my Missy Moo here, so that way we wouldn't get any of the bad no-nos. You can't do that from YouTube. I will make sure to put some links down below where you can go to actually see if you wanted to know more about a prolapsed vent for the avian, as in the ducks, the chickens, the turkeys, the geese. I will make sure you have a link to several different places down below. And now, back to the video, and I will see you again at the end. This has been like my third or fourth time trying to push it back in, but I wanted to record it this time so you guys can see. So I'm gonna clean her up a little bit. I got some, so it can be done from an egg. My spray don't want to work. Believe me, it's dead. This is dangerous. And she pooped and it popped out. So I got I just got hydrocortisone right now. I gotta go get probably the best one's preparation H, which I will be getting later. But all you're gonna do is kind of lube your fingers up, and you're gonna kind of just get this all lubed up with the preparation H, because you need it to go, the inflation to go down. Now she's not gonna. And gently, I'm gonna try to get it back in. I have to shove my fingers in to push it back in. That's why I gotta go get them. But I wanted to try to show you. She's not liking it, I know. Like I said, normally my husband will hold her. She pooped and it came out. So this is deadly for livestock, especially for ducks and chickens, turkeys, any of them. If you can't get it back in, this is because remember they only have one way out, and this is it. So their vet, it does everything. It does the egg and it does their poop. They only got one tube. Oh, I'm gonna put a little bit more on. Because you want everything to go down all around as best you can. She's gonna hate me. So we're gonna go get some preparation H. And why the prolapse happened is she's actually a newer hen. I got these guys last year. She didn't start laying until actually this year. So you have a higher chance when they're new layers to get prolapse, egg bound. So, and this is my first time ever having a prolapse. But I had one that had prolapse last year from overmating. But it wasn't their vent that popped out. It was actually something else. So I wanted to share this to help whoever else might have the same thing. And remember, she might still die, but at least you do everything you can to take care of her. And know the vets that are around, they're getting less and less to take the livestock. All right, so let's go put her back. You see her beautiful face. Good, yeah, beautiful face. It's an Ancona. It's one of my curlies. It's a beautiful girl. Beautiful baby. Get you in there. In your cage. I don't have much room. So right now I'm just using cortisone 10 because again it's anti-inflammatory. I'm gonna go get some preparation H later. I haven't been able to get very far. And I need some more rubber gloves actually because I keep having to put it back in, and I want to get some other stuff. So what do you do for it besides that you saw in her water? I actually gave her vitamins. So she has Rooster Booster, and you can do pain medicine. So you can do a little bit of the baby aspirin. You can crush that up, put that in, and you can do it's Derva. I don't have it on top of my, up here in the back room, but there is a duvet or Durvet. It has oregano oil in it, garlic. You can put that in their water. I actually still have, so if you have antibiotics, say you bought the fish antibiotics that you could buy before the government decided that we're not allowed anything. If you still have some of those, you can put some of that in there just to try to prevent a infection. So because again, that's an organ, it's hanging out, and we need to get that back in. So I need to get her basically not to be swollen, and I need to give her rest. So next, I've got to grab more cloth, and we're gonna actually cover this black. I don't want her to lay an egg. I want her to be able to be calm, relaxed, and no egg laying and just poop. But I gotta watch her because it pops back out whenever she goes to the bathroom, and it's why I need it to go back down. It's later on in the day, and I've had to run around to get supplies. So I'm going to show you, I talked a little bit about it earlier. One of the places that I went to read, I have a book, and I'll make sure that is linked down below, but they suggested to use cortisone, and I just saw cortisone cream, so that's what I originally grabbed, and it just wasn't really helping, but it worked best I could. So we'll see if the prolapse is even shrinked. It wasn't. Had a rough time with it since last night, so I went and got the ointment, which I did try to put some on again, but I don't know if I actually got it this time. So, but I'm gonna go over what I got to help her. And so there's the cortisone, and then there's something new that I didn't know. Tylenol, actually for kids, comes out with a water-soluble acetaminophen. So that is something to think about, especially for ducks or chickens. They can have, like I was saying earlier, I said I believe aspirin, but Tylenol would be much better for them to use instead of aspirin. And being that this dissolves in water, it's even better because especially the ducks and chickens, you can get that right into them. And then the other thing which will help with the prolapse is this is calcium gluconate, and you can get this at Tractor Supply. I got this at our local farm and tack, and this has got a lot of calcium, and that will help them with contracting all in their prolapse to try to keep it all get back in. There's no guarantee that it won't prolapse again later on. Right now we're just trying to get her not to lay any eggs, very minimal bowel movement, everything. I know she's probably hungry, so I got to find some wet, light, easy food that'll just digest and go right out. If you know about ducks, they don't have a sphincter, so it just comes right out, and I just want it easy. I don't want her to try to push. So she's in the tub right now, and my suggestion would try to give her a cool bath a couple times a day. Some people did tepid. My ducks are used to ice cold, and that will help reduce some of the swelling. As you know, cold does. I remember when I used to work in a nursing home, there was people that used to have prolapses, and they would ice pack them. So a cold bath will help with them to get the swelling down, and that's what we need. That's what the hydrocortisone's for. I've also read a long time ago, preparation H, again, it's for hemorrhoids, and again, it's to reduce the swelling. So now we're gonna cover her cage. She's still in the tubby, and we're gonna cover her cage. We want it nice and dark. We don't want any eggs at all. I had somebody give me lots of fabric because I actually want to relearn basically how to sew. I haven't done it since I was in high school. So let's get her covered up so she'll be nice and dark, and I won't have to worry about an egg. The only thing that's not going to be dark is right here. So it's relatively dark. I will just have to put something, which is I have a lighter cloth I can put over and leave just a little crack. I don't want her totally dark. I do want her to get a little bit of light so she can see where her stuff is. So as you can see, I have Missy Moo, They are all my Unconas. They don't have a name unless they're a Drake because I can tell them apart, but most of the girls are all Missy Moo. Alright, so let's go unwrap her. So she's not heavy, so there is no reason for a prolapse. So let's look at her bottom. It still looks good. It's still in there. She's gonna go. Let's go bring her in, and let's go get her in. She's wet. She needs to clean herself up. Ooh, ooh. Easy, easy, easy. No, you don't want to come out because the dog. Clean yourself up, baby. Here you go, Birdie. So now that we've covered her up, she's got in here. I only did for night. I did her the Tylenol, and I gave her the calcium for tonight. So that's all I gave her, and we'll go from there. We're gonna let her be. If she prolapses again, I'll turn on the camera. So right now, it's all I can do. So, and I will talk more about it a little bit later. As things cool down. I think I said earlier I did have a duck prolapse before, but it actually wasn't a prolapse. It looked like her gizzard got pushed out of her. She died because I couldn't get it back in. So, but we'll discuss a little bit more about what we need to do for the prolapse and what to do going forward. Alright guys, it is the end of day 2. So far, I've only had to put her prolapse in about 3 times today. So this is day 2 for me, day 1 for you. She got this yesterday, and I didn't bother recording it or anything because I just wanted to take care of her. So I did, and it just kept popping back out. So I wanted to pick up the camera today and share with you what Missy Moo has been going through and what we are doing to help her. So let's see if she makes it through the night without any more prolapse coming out. I did give her actually some chick starters so it'll be easy to digest and hopefully easy for her to go to the bathroom without causing it to come back out. And she does have Tylenol for tonight, and she has calcium, which will help contract her vent to start contracting and try to keep it back in, put it in place. So I will see you guys tomorrow. So this might be a little bit of repeat on the prolapse vent because it has just been a whirlwind of taking care of her, trying to get the vent back in. It was very swollen. When I shot everything, it was the second day. It was the day after she first prolapsed, after my husband and I caught her. So it has been a little bit rough, and it has taken me a while to even get her in. I need her to stop laying eggs. She was still laying eggs. She just finally stopped yesterday. So we are now almost a week being in, and she finally just stopped laying. This poor girl. So what I want to go over with you is what we've had to do to help her. So I don't want it to happen again to her. So I know I went over some of the stuff while I was recording, but I don't know how it's going to look or anything because it was actually just what was going on at that moment. So I did use, I went and got hydrocortisone ointment. I did use the cream, it just didn't stay. So this, I know it says anti-itch, but it's also anti-inflammatory. You can use this. You can use Preparation H, but I wasn't sure how it's going to react towards my girly, my Missy Moo. And so I went with the ointment. Now that's the only one I could find in ointment. It is actually very hard to find ointment, and I know it is because I used to have to get it prescribed for one of my kids because you just couldn't go and get ointment like we needed. So because it sticks better actually than the cream. You can, I've read, to try honey, like raw honey lube on the vent, and Also, I read sugar. I wouldn't try sugar. I was scared, but you can. Somebody suggested coconut oil with sugar. Lube that up, and the sugar supposedly will help reduce the swelling. So what it is when you saw the video, she's so swollen. I was having a hard time even getting my finger into, actually, sadly, to be descriptive. So the whole canal is out, basically. So you have to actually push it back in and take your finger and go right in the good old pooper and shove it. Make sure it gets all the way back in. I couldn't even get my finger in the little hole to do that. She was so swollen. So all I could do was try to just get it back in. I did clean her. So, and then, in the meantime, in her water, it's just some calcium gluconate. You can grab this at Tractor Supply. I grabbed this at our local Farm Intact. Granted, they tell you can use shooter, put it in a needle, and I didn't do that. I just put it in the water. I didn't want to put a needle in or anything like that. I'm not comfortable with that. So I put that with her water. And then I also found, which is great, I didn't even know about, Tylenol now has dissolve packs. Now Tylenol is another good that helps with any discomfort, and I like the acetaminophen. It's pain reliever. They're in pain. She's swollen. You would be too if you had anything sticking out like that. So, but you can't give them grape. You don't give them grape. They suggest not the artificial grapes. So I had to get wild berry. I'm like, why can't you come unflavored? Every kid in the world is either getting bubblegum, wild berry, or grape. Just do unflavored so they can put it in something else, or just regular water. Why do we gotta have everything with sweets? But anyway, so I had to mix this with her Rooster Booster to cover the flavor of this. That was interesting. She was not happy. But this is another thing to give them. I know I talked about the antibiotic. I was lucky enough before our government said you can't have any of this. I managed to get some, so I had some on hand. I did it as a preventive measure to make sure she wouldn't get any infections, and I only did it for 5 days. I feel like we get over medicated all the time. So that's all I did with her, because I just want to make sure that nothing happened to her. Now, how did she get the prolapse to begin with? That's a good question. And I don't even know the answer to that. I've went and read, so it could be due to overmating. Now, the thing with the drake is they actually have like little spurs on their corkscrew penis, so it can get caught, and if they don't release like they should release, it could pull her, basically prolapse her, pull her right out. And that might have what happened. I know Cowboy was mating with Missy Moo a little too much, because I know the back of her head was a little rough, and they do that sometimes when they, as they prefer one head to the other, or they're just being a jerk, because I got some of those too. And then the other reason is the egg is just too big, and it just wasn't working. It just pushed out. I don't think it was the egg. I do think it was overmating. Even though Cowboy, he can't handle more than 5 hens. He has 4, but his girly, that his absolute fave, wants to sit on eggs, and she just breaks them. She's a pecan. So, but anyway, so that is just what we've been doing here, and she continues. She has, like I was saying, I actually had my son help me. She prolapsed again, and I needed some help to push her back in. So this has been a constant battle, and like I was saying, the last few days, she hasn't prolapsed in the last 2 days, because she didn't lay an egg yesterday, and she didn't lay an egg today. You just don't want any eggs, from what I read, and I can tell from, when she lays an egg, an hour later, it's out, because she's constantly pushing, because she feels like she hasn't released it yet. It hasn't come out. So, right now, I don't want any eggs. She's covered. She does have a little bit of light, but I had a duck in prior that actually had bumblefoot, and I didn't even record it, because there's probably 50 million videos on Bumblefoot and maybe a few on the Prolapse. The Prolapse was more important to me than Bumblefoot. But if you want me to do a video on Bumblefoot, then sadly the next time I will get one again with Bumblefoot. It's another common thing that happens, and especially since I free range, I tend to get that a lot. But let me know down below, and I'll keep you updated on Missy Moo. Like I said, day 2, no Prolapse, and that's all I got for you. If you're one, I will make sure that there's tons of links down below about everything, what I read, where I found it from, because I have a book and it only gave me a little bit of info, and then I did a couple websites. I did about 3 or 4 just to get different views, because not everything works. So like I said, the hydrocortisone might not work, but maybe that coconut oil and sugar might work, or maybe that honey, or maybe try last resort be preparation H. But I will let you know. I will keep you updated on how my Missy Moo is, because she's sadly is missing her buds, but she needs to be in here to heal, and it's going to take a while before I make sure she doesn't pop out again. We want nice contractions to keep it in place. So that's all I have for you, and thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.